welcome to episode of 144 of the Eldritch Podblast.
I'm pretty sure this is 100. Is it 144?
Yeah,
it's 144. Right.
I was about to be like 444.
444.
444. Where have you been?
We made it, gang.
Oh my gosh.
To the big 444.
So good to be here on the 444.
Oh my god, 444.
444. Man, how long would we for it to be
long time.
444? Because
Probably
this
into our
is
third year.
Yeah, this is 144, and this is pretty much exactly a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So hold on, 144 would be 288,
So it's 188,
and then that would be 3 years.
That'd be 3 years. Oh,
and
man.
then another 144 would be 418. I don't know.
think so.
You know what?
think
I'm
so.
lost. I'm lost. Years though.
It'll be years.
Years.
It'll be years.
Yeah.
Years.
Someone remind us on episode 444 that we did this on 144.
144.
Huh? All right. Yeah. All right. Okay.
The
Good.
fact that we're on 144 still.
I know. It's still
It's
wild.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. And
We're closing in on
remember
150.
when we would get like episode 16? We'd be like, I can't believe we're on episode
Well, like
16.
we made it, gang.
Yeah, we made it.
We made
The
it.
thing is, it's so funny because in the early days, you just have no idea.
No idea.
And everything in the early days is like brand new, and everything you do is like you're not sure where the next decision's going to take you.
Yeah.
And like, still at this point, we still have no idea, right?
No idea.
But we're at least used to the
Formatting.
action of
Like the format of what we do now.
yeah,
But
totally.
that changes. Like
Yeah.
it's changed since 100. It's
Yeah, it has.
It just always changes.
Yeah, it
But
has.
it just evolves.
You have to think 100 was when we were downstairs still.
100 was when we were downstairs with the big balloons.
Yeah, and
That was at Christmas.
we were so stressed out and
Yeah.
so burnt out at that point because if you don't know, we work full time as well. We own a small business, which is like D&D stuff. And as always, around Christmas, it gets really busy.
Really busy.
So we were like in the midst of like the Christmas stuff. I remember you barely had time to go out and get the balloons.
Yeah, I had to go out and get the balloons at like 8 o'clock at night or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, man.
Just as the shops were closing.
Yeah, and
Man, them balloons took forever to blow up, by the way. I was just stood in Card Factory for like 20 minutes.
Is
Just
that how long
waiting.
they
It
took?
took ages.
They were massive.
They were
as
trying
well.
their best.
They
It
were
wasn't their
massive.
fault. They just took it. They just
Man.
take ages to blow up.
I wish more than anything I could have like really savored and enjoyed that
That-
time.
I know,
back
but we
then.
couldn't at all.
Yeah,
Not
we
even
couldn't
slightly.
at all. And you know what? We know better. This year,
Yeah,
not a chance.
If we need to take, or go down like a video a week or something,
Yeah,
for like
totally.
for a bit of Christmas, we'll
yeah,
do it.
totally. Like, and again, back then, we had no idea that was something that we could even consider
I
doing.
know.
And at the same time, we had an episode that came out on Christmas Day, and it was actually really important to us to at least do the Christmas video.
Yeah.
Because, not everyone celebrates Christmas,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And people who do celebrate Christmas, not everyone's privileged enough to be able to spend it with
family,
people or
yeah.
with, in
With
general.
friends.
Yes, Christmas can be a really tough time for people.
Quite a depressing time. for a
Yeah,
lot of people.
definitely.
But
I know for me for a long time it was.
Yeah.
And I'm only really kind of coming out of that now, to
We
be
don't
honest.
really care about Christmas anymore.
Nah.
We used to care.
Yeah.
We like it for like as soon as Christmas is as soon as our work is finished.
Yeah.
Then we get like
Christmas holidays.
a little bit of time for ourselves.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we just
yeah.
chill and game and watch movies and stuff like that
Yeah,
and eat
yeah.
loads of food.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really special anymore
No,
to me. And
You do something 30 times.
it's because I used to enjoy like seeing my family, but
yeah.
I only care about a small select few of my family these days.
Yeah.
I care about my mum, my dad, and my brother, and his wife
And nephew. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
indeed. Well,
like my brother and his family,
Yeah.
and my parents.
yeah. Yeah.
It
That's fair. That's really
couldn't
fair.
care less
I'm
about the rest of them.
sure a lot of people resonate with that, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
saw him yesterday. Boring. I spent
Yeah.
all the time. Nearly swore. I spent the whole time at a family barbecue outside with my nephew, my 5-year-old nephew, playing football.
Yeah, because the thing
Because-
is, he's fun. He's at the age where he's really fun to be around.
Yeah, and if I go inside and have the brain-rotting conversations of
Yeah.
how boring it is to speak to my grandma about stuff that I just don't care about at all.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
yeah. It's one of those things where
God.
like we're just so different.
We're so
and
different.
not from like your brother and his
No.
wife, and like not like we are from your parents, but it's different with that. But,
I think my parents try and understand though.
Yeah,
I
think
my
so.
parents
At least they hear you out.
Yeah,
you
my parents will maybe they don't agree with me on everything, but they'll at
hear
least
you out.
they love me enough to hear me out
and support you.
and
yeah,
support me
yeah,
and support you.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
my brother gets it most of the time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But man, having a conversation with my grandma and my great auntie and stuff like that.
Yeah,
shut up.
Yeah, it's hard. And again, I am sure that some of you watching can completely echo that sentiment. It's hard dealing with the older generations for all of the reasons
so many
above.
reasons.
Let's be honest.
Like I know that I'm lucky that my parents are as awesome as they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in some circumstances they can't be, and I give them the benefit of the doubt because they are old. But I do try and educate them the best I can.
Yeah.
But I understand that some people don't even have that with the parents.
Yeah, well,
so I feel lucky in that regard.
Exactly. And like while my parents were around, like same here, like my dad was a really great guy.
Yeah, your dad was just clued in though.
Yeah.
Your dad was just a bit different, full stop. Like
he was.
He just didn't look at the world like most people of his generation did.
No, he really didn't. Like, and I think that is he's a testament to why I am so left leaning.
I agree.
Why I'm so
understanding.
Yeah, I think so because I was raised by my dad.
Yeah.
And he was a great man.
He was. Yeah.
And he really taught me well. I think.
I agree, and I think that like people like him who grew up in that time but still thought the way that he thought are rare.
I agree.
I think that because I think my parents are good people, but they weren't as clued in as he was.
No, and I think he really tried as well. I think it's the difference.
I agree.
And you know what? I wasn't actually going to mention this because it makes me so emotional.
No,
but
okay.
Hey, as you know, like my dad passed away in 2020. It was the worst thing to ever happen to me. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Your parents dying sucks. Who knew? Yeah, who knew?
Hey,
that sucks.
It's not great.
That stinks. And I'm finally coming to the point where I'm sure you can tell actually where I'm able to talk about him more.
I think we tried to make a conscious effort though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because there was a point where you were talking about like how you miss him, and I was just like, we should just talk about him more. Because when someone in your family dies, it's like it becomes like almost taboo to talk about them.
It
because
does.
You don't want to upset the people that it upsets.
It
I didn't want to mention it but then I was just like, we should just talk about him more.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's been good for you because it used to be every single time he'd come up, you'd get upset.
Yeah.
And now it's only sometimes. But that's it.
And the thing is, it's upset as in it's not a knee-jerk reaction. It's like upset at
thinking about him.
Yeah, and it's not even really. It's obviously upset, but it's just thinking about how much of a good dude he was.
Yeah.
And he really was, and how much of an impact on my life he had. Sorry to get into it, but my mum
It's our podcast. We'll talk about what we want.
My mum passed away when I was really young, when I was 8. And my dad solely raised me.
Yeah.
He paved a path for himself where he could stay home with me.
Yeah.
Didn't have to get anyone to look after me. He never remarried. And looked after me 100%, just him. There was no help. So I don't know what to end this conversation is, but I don't know. Grief is a really weird thing, to be honest. And someone, it's gonna make me emotional. Last stream we were joking. We were saying he never worked out how to do the YMCA dance. He could never work it out. And my mum was
the simplest dance moves of all time.
My mum refused to dance with him because he had no idea what he was doing. And we just talked about it on stream and had a laugh about it. And in our Discord server, Teddy Saurus, who was like a really strong member of the community, left a really nice comment and just said, every time that Mags talks about her dad, it makes me really emotional. And thank you. Thanks for feeling my feelings so deeply. And thank you for thank you for having that connection with me where you care enough for me and you can see the things I really care about, and you care too. It means a lot.
It does mean a lot.
So
it means a lot to both of us.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does. So you clapped us in.
I clapped us in.
Oh my God, you clapped us in.
I thought you said you were ready. Sorry.
Oh my God, he clapped us in.
At the moment that Margaret's opening her heart up to the internet, the dog was like. So I had to just try and ignore that for as long as possible.
Well, that's enough of that.
That's enough of that.
But again, I'm sorry if that people could perceive that as maybe too much, but we've always said, like we've always said, whatever we're going through, it's important to be transparent, and people experience grief all the time.
Yeah,
and if I can teach just one person that it's okay to be in your feelings, it's okay to not want to talk about it. It's okay to want to talk about it.
And, if you don't want to talk about it now, there will become a time where you are okay talking about it. Like, that time will come.
Yeah,
it may take different amounts of time for different people. People might be all right with it straight away. People might not be all right with it for a decade. But you'll get to the point where you will be okay to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, 4 years down the line, you just saw me then. It's never going to not hurt.
It's never going to not hurt. But, it gets just a little bit easier.
It does. It does. It really does. And if that can just give someone maybe just some comfort in the same way that, that comment gave me comfort, and you guys always give me comfort. So yeah.
And also that you don't choose your family.
No.
And so it can be really alienating for a lot of people a lot of times that their family aren't as supportive as others.
Yeah.
But you'll find family elsewhere.
100%.
Family is a loose term, in my opinion.
Blood is not thicker than water.
100%.
It simply is not. And if your family treat you bad, they don't respect you, they don't want to even try to meet you at your level, there is no reason for you to stick around. Really, I really mean that.
And fuck them.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, big time. Because I've met a bunch of people in my life now who, because it was strange for me because I thought everyone's family was the same as mine. But I began to see people who just because they were their family, thought that they could treat them however they wanted. Oh, it's alright because we're family though. It's just like, no, you still got to treat each other with respect.
100%.
And you still got to understand each other. And you still got to try with each other.
Yeah.
And family, parents that don't do without kids, it's like, why the fuck did you have kids?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I agree. And
it's unbelievable.
Especially in this community, our whole spectrum of friends has been opened. Like, we have been introduced to so many new people, so many people that we haven't met in our real lives. People all the way through the gender spectrum. People who are neurodivergent. We've been lucky enough to be able to have our scope broadened like that.
Yeah, of course.
And just through even some of our friends, hearing how their families treat them is unacceptable. And
100%.
You can choose your family, by the way.
Big time. You got a family right here, baby.
Can. Exactly.
You got a Discord full of 1,800 people who will understand you. You got a Twitch community who turns up every week to just hype each other up and let each other know that it's okay. Like, there's a family here for you. And it's like, for new people, this isn't a one-off thing. We talk about things like this all the time. We get onto the TTRPGs thing, but at the same time, it's about here. It's like, we all love TTRPGs, but we all love each other first.
Yep.
And we all accept each other. And unless you're a piece of shit and you're hateful, then you don't belong here because there's no room for that here. But yeah, just want to let you know that we're here for you.
Yeah, 100%. And again, if sharing any of that can just make one person feel better, then that's why we do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's why we bare our souls on the internet, for that being the main reason.
Yeah.
So, God. Well, anything else?
That's what a family barbecue does.
Seriously, it is. I think I was in a bit of a funk all day yesterday after that because it just makes you reflect on things. I think.
It's like it's sad sometimes when I come away from like a Twitch stream where I get to speak to you all, and I'm like, man, I feel
invigorated.
I feel at home.
I feel like understood and heard.
Yeah, I feel like I've got my people.
Yeah,
my
totally.
People who are just like unabashedly, 100%, unashamedly themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Who won't judge each other.
No.
And then I go to a fucking family barbecue where my grandma is just being fucking weird, and I'm just like, I hate it here.
Yeah,
I hate it here.
It's a horrible parallel, I think.
Hate it.
But
it's so sad because I love my parents and my brother and his family so much,
same.
I just hate the rest of them.
Yeah, I know, and I think again, you can choose your family. You
I
really
agree.
can. And I have never felt so at home than being surrounded by you guys. Like,
Agree.
I really mean it.
100%.
I really feel. And the thing is, I know you feel the same because you tell us. The amount of people who come into our Twitch streams, especially, because, you know, this is really special, but the Twitch stream, listen, the Twitch streams is just us sitting around eating and talking a lot of the time.
We just talk, yeah. We talk about D&D, we talk about TTRPGs, we talk about life, we talk about the world, we talk about everything. It's just a good place to just, you know, find and meet a bunch of people who, you know, will just be your friend.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we hear all the time from you guys how welcome you feel, how safe you feel, how it's the first place that you feel like you can actually voice your opinions without being dogpiled on.
Yeah.
And I think that's really special. That's a special thing on the internet. And let me tell you, trying to explain that to people who do not understand what Twitch is hard.
So hard. Oh my God.
It's so hard. So yeah, I think we're in a bit of a reflective state today.
I'm always like this after I see my family though.
Yeah, I am.
After I have to spend time with the older generations of this world.
Me too.
And look, I understand that some of them are nice, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
And the people who are in my family aren't. So
yeah, I agree. And you know, for me, it makes me reflect. Like, man, I wish my dad was here. You know.
I know.
But that's how it goes.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah, he is. Well, Jesus. With all of that said,
www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Go and pick up some Attack the Unaware.
Oh
threads.
yes, I think at this point all of the T-shirt orders have been processed.
Yes,
right? Yeah,
every single one.
Easy. Yeah, easy money.
All of them.
Easy money. Easy.
If you want a chance to win a piece of merch for free, please join us. This Sunday for the Homebrew Challenge.
Yes.
We have a bingo card of a number of things that will most definitely
happen.
Maybe a little unlikely will happen throughout the stream, and you get to tick them off. And if you get yourself bingo, you will win a free piece of merch.
First person who calls bingo will win a free piece of merch.
We check your card though, so don't be...
I don't think we even officially announced this, did we?
No, I don't think we did.
Well, there you go. There you go. And with that, shall we get into the topic?
Absolutely. Like, comment, subscribe.
Oh my God.
Hit the bell. All the good
God.
Stuff. Help the video. Help the channel. We love you.
As you can see, we are doing D&D Am I the Asshole? I think all of these submissions... Oh my goodness. All of these submissions. No, they're not all submissions. The last one is from the Reddit.
Okay.
And again, there's a few less this time, but some of them are longer, so we can really get into them. So thank you so much for all your submissions. I know sending in an Am I the Asshole is a hard one.
Yeah.
I fully understand, but the link is below if you have any questions. Not just Am I the Asshole, we take horror stories, we take wholesome stories, we take advice submissions, so please send them in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. This has been sent in by Anon, or you can call them DL, and they use they, them pronouns.
Thank you very much, DL.
Thank you, DL. Am I the arsehole for feeling like my 32-page character has been underutilized? Hi, friends. I came across your page, and I love your content. This conflict has been happening came to mind, and I'm wondering if I'm impatient or the arsehole. I'm currently in a campaign with 4 other people, so 5 of us excluding the DM. The DM is an old friend of mine who has been running elaborate and really amazing campaigns for some time, but this is the first time I was involved to actually be a principal character, whereas before I was usually just a guest star for friends, or I would assistant DM on occasion when his stories got too complicated for one person to keep track of.
Okay.
They wanted to run a new campaign that was very interaction/roleplay focused, as many of their previous campaigns were full of a lot of individuals who were timid or new to D&D, or were just sort of ashamed on the roleplay aspect and were only interested in combat.
That can happen to new people.
Yeah,
That can happen to
definitely.
new people, definitely.
They purposely chose people who were actor types or experienced, etc., in order to get a more character-driven story for this campaign. In the quest to do this, they were very adamant about us fleshing out our characters prior to beginning to play in order for them to build the world and beginning story beats around our characters. So we spent several months answering several page questionnaires about our characters. We had to make symbols, maps, family trees, the whole 9 yards before we even started playing. Culminating in over 32 pages of just character work. We sat and did voice training and logistics and everything to get really comfortable to flesh out our characters.
Holy shit.
Full-time job, baby.
That's a full-time job.
I was super excited because this was my first time being included. I love the roleplay aspect of D&D, and the character I ended up creating I was very excited about. I created a kingdom, a family lineage, folklore, an entire god system. I was really going for it. Well, we've been playing for several months now, and the story has completely revolved only one player and their character. Don't get me wrong, I love the player. They roleplay so well, and the character is super interesting. But we've only been following their story and their goals, essentially. All the parts of their backstory, all our conflicts have been with their villains over and over, and the rest of us have been very rarely interloped unless we force ourselves into an interaction with said character. One other character has become somewhat interloped because of their race / their connection to the same villain, but really the rest of us had almost entirely no effect on the plot whatsoever, and I am getting frustrated. The role-playing I have gotten to do is so fun, and they're all so talented, but I feel like I'm having to spend several hour sessions watching or just trying to comment just to have something to even remotely do. I have really become kind of like a perception buffer because my modifier is high and I tend to roll high, but perception is probably the only thing I have rolled this entire campaign, and we have been playing for several months at this point. I know I should be patient and we can't all be the stars all the time, but it feels jarring to have written all of that lore and been asked to write all of that lore for none of it to matter for upwards of 10 sessions. Especially when there is another character in the campaign who is connected to my character, who is also not receiving any fleshing out, and they're not building any relationships because there's been no talk of the thing that connects us, despite it being the very reason they met in session 0. Am I the arsehole for being frustrated, or am I just being impatient?
No, not at this point, I don't think.
Yeah,
the thing is, if the Dungeon Master has in store for you, like, you all get one arc that lasts, like, a year.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crack. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just like, then just tell us that.
Yeah.
Because then at least I think the problem is right now, it's like, you just don't know if it's ever going to come.
Yeah.
At this point.
Like, to be playing for several months and only having rolled perception.
Yeah.
Like, that would feel bad for me. And I completely understand. You know, I understand that you're saying the DMs found a group of people who are like actors or experienced who enjoy roleplay over combat. Yeah. So I get it. And that's fine. But I would be climbing up
perplexed.
Walls. I would be.
Like, to me, it's every table's different, and I think it's just so tough, isn't it? Because if you want that like really thick, juicy roleplay, you want that really deep, rich story, and it's like when we play in our game and it's someone's like arc or someone's moment or someone's decision or just part of their backstory, you want them to have that moment.
Yeah.
You want to, be there to support them and be like, look, whatever decisions you make, you go for the hero moment. Like, we understand that the roleplay is going to evolve around you for this session or a couple of sessions or stuff like that. But months is too long for me.
And, this would actually be different as well if the DM maybe hadn't asked you to do all of this. Like, if you had just, by yourself gone, I'm creating a kingdom, I'm creating lineage, like, I can understand why that would be different to the DM asking you, but the DM asked you to do all of this.
And, like, to me, it's like, if just because it's someone's arc, I know what it almost sounds like I'm contradicting what I just said, but just because it's someone's arc doesn't mean that nobody else gets to play.
Totally.
Like, they're still
absolutely
involved in the session. There's still other things happening. There's still fights and there's still NPC interactions.
There's still conversation. There's
conversations,
still,
quests.
Yeah, there's still, you're a party for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? And I understand wanting to give the player the spotlight.
Get that. Totally get that.
Totally.
100%.
And, that's what we do. Like,
but for months.
Yeah, for months. Yeah, I agree.
It's too much.
The thing is, I actually didn't even consider what you said in the beginning. Like, maybe it's a case that, like, each person's arc is individual. It lasts maybe like a year or so.
Maybe it takes like 6 months to get through the arc.
Totally.
But it's like, if that's the case, then the Dungeon Master needs to tell the players, like, I'm not leaving you out.
Yeah.
But, when we're in someone's arc, it's their arc, and it revolves around them, and they get the spotlight and stuff like that. And then it's at that point you can be like, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Great stuff. Like, I hope you enjoy yourselves, but like, I don't just want to come to be a perception bot and do nothing else.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair.
This feels like, we've had so many stories of people being like, yeah, it's the DM's like, it's going to be a really role play based game and it's going to be based on all your things. And this happened to us. We were told like there was a really important thing in a campaign, and I at least based my whole character on this one important thing for it to never be relevant at all in the slightest.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have gotten to it, but it was so frustrating, even just in that. And even being told, like, it's going to be a certain way and it not. It's frustrating. And you're not being impatient. Several months is way too long.
Like, when did I start my campaign? It was in January.
December. Yeah.
It was after. It was either January or February.
It was January.
And what? Now we're like 6 months into my campaign now.
Yeah.
We are
at like the peak now.
Well, we're not at the peak.
We're at the crescendo.
Nah, I don't think we're at the crescendo either. We're building up to that. Yeah. It's like things are really happening. Things are like hotting up. We're starting to really learn.
We're really seeing like all of the paths in front of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's where you're at. It's like the options have been laid bare in front of you, and it's just like everywhere you go, something cool's gonna happen.
Yeah. Like
a storyline will come to conclusion probably.
Yeah.
But every single person has had something.
Yeah. Yes.
Like Josh's arc literally crescendoed last session.
Yeah.
Like that was like the pinnacle moment.
Yeah.
And we've had little bits and bobs and like findings out of like who his wife is and stuff like that this whole time from the beginning.
Yeah.
And his wife is like entwined with your character.
Yes.
Abby's character.
Yes.
Even Matthew's to an extent.
Yeah.
But we've touched on, and do you want to know what? For Matthew, sorry about that. My dog was looking at himself. Yeah, so we got to, I think in my campaign, we got to about 15-ish sessions in, and Matthew's character had bits, but he'd had nothing in comparison to the rest of you. Yeah. And there was a reason for that narratively.
Yeah.
But I like said to him just above table, just like to him, I was like, just so you know, it's all coming. It's just taking a little bit longer to get there for reasons. Yeah. And I know that he didn't need that from me.
No.
Because he trusts me and he trusts that I would never just leave him out on purpose or anything like that.
We've played with you a few times at this point now.
But I still took it upon myself.
Totally. To let him know.
To let him know because everyone had so much at that point.
Yeah.
And he'd had the least.
Yeah.
But then when his came, it was like he found out exactly why.
Yeah.
There was a big reason why.
And again, I honestly, it was an amazing reveal, and it was really shocking, the reveal. And it blindsided all of us.
Yeah.
And even though, looking back, maybe it shouldn't have, but it certainly did. And because he had nothing up to that point, maybe tiny crumbs, it made it more shocking when it happened. And he didn't need that reassurance from you, but I genuinely think even just hearing, I promise it's coming, probably in some way put his mind at ease a little bit.
It's like I know that I didn't need to do that, but I wanted to do that for him.
Totally. Yeah, totally. So no.
No, are you the asshole?
DL? No, absolutely not. I genuinely think, like Jack said, talk to your DM and just say
are we getting anything?
Yeah.
Like, because at this point, because you haven't communicated that, this could take a long time. Don't worry, it's going to come.
Yes.
Like those aspects. Like
Totally.
I'm starting to worry that it's never going to happen, and this campaign is just going to revolve around somebody else. And it's like, you put in a lot of work, like more than I would say 99.9% of people who are going to play Dungeons and Dragons or TTRPG role play based game. Where you act as another character. You've put in more effort than I would say almost everyone.
Oh yeah, well I can easily say more than me, more than I would have, and I love my D&D characters.
And it's not that I ask a lot of my players, but I ask a bit of them.
Yeah.
And for you to have nothing months in,
I agree.
and do you want to know what? It's not even that you've got nothing; you've had no communication.
I
That's
agree.
the bit that gets me.
I agree. And you know what? Your DM might not even realize
that's the thing
that
might
this
not
has
realize
happened. Because again, DMs, they have the bigger picture, they know how things are going to tie in with each other.
You can get lost in the sauce as a DM sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Genuinely, DL, if you're watching this,
just
talk to your DM and just say like, hey, I'm feeling this way. There hasn't been a lot of expansion on my character at the very least.
I just seem to just be rolling perception.
Yeah, like
and you know, just like let them know how you're feeling.
Totally. Yeah. And
you want more than
maybe
that.
At that point they'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, I have it planned in blocked arcs. Or they'll be like, you suck.
Yeah, and then you can
and then but you know what I mean.
Take according action at that point.
Yeah, no, not the asshole.
No,
not the asshole.
No way, Al. No.
All right, this next one. This has been sent in by Anonymous, and he uses he/him pronouns.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous. Am I the arsehole for wanting to leave my campaign / not enjoying or engaging with my campaign? I'm unsure if this should be advice, am I the arsehole, or a horror story, and I apologize if this is a long one. I'll try to keep it short. Do not apologize. There has been a handful of things in my current campaign that have annoyed me and have caused me to dislike playing. But I want to preface this by saying I like everyone at my table. They're great. For one, I dislike how every NPC is really cool and OP and interesting, and we spend so much time focused on NPCs who all feel like the main characters, and a lot of dialogue is spent on just 2 or more NPCs talking at each other. Players feel less important and take a back seat, especially when there's this DMPC that has these super cool powers and an insane backstory of being the son of a fae and a powerful devil. The DM puts really cool things in the way of the players, but tells us we can't do anything about it. The person's too strong, etc. And instead, the DMPC or the NPCs have to deal with the problem. For example, a fort, which is the base of a cult that is tied to 2 of the players' backstories, but we are told we will all die if we go there. And instead, the OP cool dragon NPC we spent all session talking to deals with it instead.
Yeah.
And lastly, the joint backstory of 2 players eats up the most campaign adventuring, leaving me and the other player in the background. Also, one of the players' characters is very mean and very passive-aggressive, which is unfun to play with. And finally, a final nitpick is that there's too many references, dialogue, and characters which are completely ripped off from other media, cool scenes and dialogue which are word for word from other things, characters based off popular characters with the names being unchanged too. It just takes me out of the session. All of these things have led to me checking out and just playing games on my phone or just going on my phone mid-session. Am I the asshole here?
No. Like, has it got to the point where you're so checked out that you're probably, you know, like, just being on your phone and playing games during the session, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But at the same time, you're at this point not by your own choices. You're at this point not by, you know, having a good time and stuff like that. Right, let's tackle it bit by bit. So the thing about referencing popular media, couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's...
I reference popular media. I literally put the Crystal Song Forest in my game last session. Like these purple arcane trees that have like crystal leaves that like jingle and cause this nice, like,
it's a reference from WoW.
It's a reference from WoW. It's like I literally just put the Crystal Song Forest in my game because I wanted that. It's like we're allowed to do that as dungeon masters because, you know, we have full-time jobs and we watch these things and want to live out, just like you players want to live out your Aang from The Last Avatar. You want to live out playing Joel from
Last of Us.
The Last of Us as a gunslinger or something like that. Or proper survivalist.
Yeah.
You want to play, you know, Keyleth from Vox Machina. You want to, like, we're allowed to do that just as much as you are.
Yeah. And I think everything's derivative as well. I think that's kind of a moot point. Although I do understand why it would take people out of, like, why it would take you out at the moment. I do understand that.
Yeah.
Especially if, you know, you are seeing like one-to-one things. I get it. I do get it. It doesn't bother me. And you know, there's an argument to why it shouldn't bother you, but I understand that it does. And I think actually I, on a whole, actually maybe have a bit of a different opinion, like, to you on this in general, actually, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you know,
like,
I think,
but just so you know, that's where it stops for me.
Yeah.
That is where, like, the things that you've said that I don't agree with, that's where it stops. Everything else, you are so valid.
Oh, yeah. Everything
else
fucking stinks, by the way.
Having DMPCs that just do the cool thing is the most annoying and saddest thing. It's like, if there's a DMPC, they're the same power level as the group. For me, this is the same power level as the group. They can go along to help.
Yeah.
And, just to get to know this person.
Yeah.
They can help out, but they're, similar power level to you. They don't just one-bomb the thing.
Yeah.
That feels bad.
Yeah. And to then have to go and deal with a character's backstory.
Yeah.
Like, to be like, oh, this is really important to your backstory, but hey, I'll deal with it. That stinks. That absolutely fucking stinks. There is nothing more disappointing than that.
When we play TTRPGs, D&D, whatever we play, like, we see Cool Dragon, we want to kill Cool Dragon.
Yeah.
We see Beholder, we want to kill Beholder.
Yeah.
It's like seeing the cool thing that you want to fight, and then just having someone come in and one-bomb it, like a DMPC just one-bomb it, is the most disheartening and boring thing in my opinion.
I know.
And it's like, we can do it maybe once a campaign to flex like a god's muscles, or even a BBG's muscles.
Yeah, or even like have an NPC stand in, whether they're successful or not. Like, having an NPC stand in can feel good. You know, I can think of a time where in your campaign it happened and it felt really good.
Well, it's happened in this campaign once, and it wasn't like big scary thing gets
killed. It was
one guard at door gets killed by an NPC.
Yeah.
And it was like this NPC sort of returning.
Totally, yeah.
And you still had then a massive fight.
Yes.
Because that person was like, please help me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that what was the other points? There was
and the joint backstory of two other players just taking up other space.
Yeah, it's the same as the first submission, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, we all come to D&D to play, to share the spotlight. It's like, when somebody has their backstory, like that's happening, it's like, it's fine. We're happy to give them the spotlight.
Yeah.
We're happy to like support them.
Yeah.
But if it's all them and never us, like, it feels dreadful.
I agree. And I think this is maybe where my opinion is different to yours. I think that is all so fucking frustrating, and that sucks. But I always say, like, you are so valid in how you're feeling, but I think the thing that is defining is how you deal with it.
That's the thing.
And being really honest, getting to a point, I understand, by the way, getting to this point, but getting to a point where you're just playing games in the session and then you're just on your phone, it's like, there has to be a point where you decide, I'm just not going to play in this. OP, it sounds like you fucking hate this game.
You mentally
rightfully
checked out
so,
of this
by the way.
But the way that you're feeling is so valid, but the way that you're dealing with it is wrong,
in my opinion.
It's like, at this point where you're just like in the session, but you're mentally checked out and you're just playing games and stuff like that. It's like, just leave.
Yeah, I do not understand how it benefits you playing this game. Yeah. And if you just need some reassurance to say, like, leave this game, like, Here is this.
Here is that. I will tell you, leave the game.
You are not having fun.
No.
Like, you're wasting your time. Like, think, if you'd rather be playing games than playing D&D, then just don't play D&D.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't owe anyone anything, by the way. Like, I know you say you love these people and they're your friends, but it's so okay to say, like, hey, I'm just not enjoying the game anymore. It doesn't even have to be this, like, talking to the DM and saying, like, you're putting me off because of all these things, because it sounds like you're already done.
Yeah, if you're already done, just be done.
Totally.
Like, don't drag it out for yourself.
Yeah,
Don't drag it out for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, like, if you keep this going, you will become the asshole.
Yeah,
is the problem.
I totally agree.
Like, everything that the DM's done, like, just invalidating your character by just having NPCs take care of everything.
Yeah.
Not paying any attention to your backstory and things like
sucks.
that. And it's like, when it comes to the popular media thing, I've gave my opinion on that, but that doesn't mean that the way that you feel about it isn't valid.
Yeah, very much so.
Like,
very much so.
You just might not want that, and that's fine.
You're very valid in everything you're feeling, but again, I think
the way that you deal with it.
I agree, and I think the way you're currently dealing with it now does lean into being the arsehole.
100%.
And especially if he kept it going. Like, just think of it this way. It's just unfair on everyone, you being there at this point.
100%, yeah.
Like, and,
there might be other people who really enjoy this session.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? just because you don't doesn't mean other people's do, but at the same time, you not is so valid for so many reasons.
Yeah, you have to do things that serve you.
100%.
And it doesn't sound like this game is serving you at all.
Just leave.
Just leave.
Just leave.
Trust me.
Do yourself the favor. Do everyone else the favor.
Totally.
And just leave.
Totally. I think so many of these, especially ones that I see on Reddit, it's something similar to this, and people being like, am I the arsehole for wanting to leave? And it's like, no. You are never the arsehole for wanting to do the thing that serves you. Yeah. And again, you have to do, of course. I say you don't owe anyone anything, but at the same time, you have to want, if you want to be friends with people, you do have to make compromises and you do have to care about them.
Yeah, you have to get, I agree.
But I think getting into this rut of, I'm not going to leave because they're my friend. Oh, I don't want to upset them. It builds up resentment. Yeah. And when there's resentment, you start to make decisions that can actually make you the asshole.
Yeah. Like, we've had situations have been brought like to this, like us in IRL. Yeah. And we say the same thing. It's like, and maybe sometimes we're a little too blunt with it when we say it, but that's because it's just like, if we don't want to do something in our lives,
I am not doing
we just won't do it.
Yeah.
And because if we do it, we'll be miserable and we'll drag the mood down.
Yeah, totally.
And we don't want to be those people.
No.
And, we are just so honest when it comes to being like, look, thank you so much for inviting us. Or like, thanks so much for like considering me, but I don't want to do that. And it's not for any other reason than, I just have no desire to do it. And if I do come, I'll, bring the mood down and stuff like that.
I'll be forcing myself to have fun.
Or I'll be
forcing
myself to have fun, and that's not fun for anyone.
Totally.
So it's just like, yeah.
You're
like,
never the asshole for feeling your feelings.
No.
Ever.
Never.
But when you start to build up resentment like this, it's a slippery slope resentment, I think.
And you aren't the asshole yet.
No.
You definitely will become the asshole if you just keep going on this path.
Exactly. Because how many times have we said it? It's so rude to be on your phone or playing games.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I don't understand why you're doing it, but, I think it's best for everyone if you just leave, OP.
I agree.
Thank you for your submission. OP.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right. This is the penultimate. This is the second to last.
Man, because they just saw, you okay? Is he licking himself?
He's licking himself. He was licking his foot.
Stomping on his feet.
Again, whole foot in mouth. Yeah, whole foot in mouth, by the way. All right, this is the penultimate, and this has been sent in by Anonymous, and she uses she, they pronouns.
Thank you very much, Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous. Am I wrong for letting a player come back after a few months as a changeling, pretending to be their old character? I haven't read this one out before, have I?
I don't think so.
We'll see. Hold on. You know what? I don't know.
Oh my God.
I had a player who, due to work issues, had to stop playing. So I sent them off with a monk, saving a child, and falling into an endless cavern. It was emotional and ambiguous because they wanted to come back and play that same character.
Okay.
That's exactly what the other players thought had happened. Instead, they didn't want to play them again, but also wanted to use the same build. We workshopped it as their monk barely surviving the fall and being stuck in the cavern. They met an abandoned child and raised them to survive, making a little version of them. They came up with the idea of the child being a changeling and taking their old character's form in a type of love. The only difference being their eye color. The old one had brown eyes and this one is a jeweled green. This problem started when other players got mad that they weren't acting like their old character and remembering things that they had done together. The party started trying to make choices for them and I had to put my foot down. It relaxed for a bit until they had an emotional moment of the changeling telling them their story and why they took their form. I thought it was very poetic, but the rest of the party were mad that they hadn't been told. I think it defeats the purpose, and the changeling player didn't want to share their backstory yet at that point. And also, the other players haven't shared their backstories right away either. Am I the asshole?
No.
Yeah, I like what a we haven't read this one before, have we?
Never. No.
What a
strange one.
What a strange one. Because
why would they start making decisions for them? Is it because they were making decisions that they didn't think that character would make?
Well, yeah.
So then they were like, oh well, no, because you wouldn't do that.
But you
do
wouldn't
this.
do that. Yeah, like to me. Well,
what if they'd like gone and they'd fallen down this eternal cavern and like maybe they'd had some like form of memory loss or something like that.
Yeah.
And they'd lost like an amount of time.
And
or
I think I can only speak for myself, but I think for me, if this had happened to one of our players, like I would maybe use a bit of my critical thinking and be like, there's a reason.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
There's a story reason.
Yeah.
And like they're intentionally not remembering things.
Yes.
They're intentionally like dropping strange hints.
Yes.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
To me, that would be so interesting.
Same.
I think that would be like a really cool plot point.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe there could be like a moment where it like crescendos and they do call them out.
Yeah.
And then this person like drops the form and they are this changeling.
Yeah.
And they're like, I do want to help them. They're at the bottom of this eternal cavern or something like that. That'd be cool.
I agree. And like, if part of me was like, does this fit on at least like the spectrum of like BBEG party is evil plot twist?
No.
Like, and
because they're not portraying
it doesn't, does it?
They're not portraying the party in any way. It's like,
no.
They might have their own goals or something like that. And I imagine they'll eventually come out.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like nobody else has shared the backstory. So why do they have to have this person force their backstory out of them because they're not acting the way that they should?
And then for them, the party, and, you know, we can obviously only go off what OP has said here, but, you know, it was a poetic and emotional moment when the changeling dropped their form and told the party.
Yeah.
And, like, I can imagine... Again, for me, for our party, if that had happened and we realized that our friend was dead, and then this was, you know, a kind of a byproduct of that, it would be a really emotional moment.
Yeah.
That would, you know, you would be sad. You wouldn't be mad.
You wouldn't be mad.
In my opinion.
Because this is the thing. When that whole thing happens where, like, oh, the player's in cahoots with the DM and it turns out they're actually the BBEG, it's like that trust that you have built up has then been betrayed.
Yeah.
It's like, unless this changeling wants to just betray them, then it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's like you can pretend to be somebody else. It's like, you know, maybe minor critical role, second campaign spoilers. You know, Ford is a little bit, you know, he's maybe not exactly who he says he is at the beginning. He is exactly who he says he is, but he's just acting a little bit different than he normally would. Like, to me, like, you're allowed to have secrets, and this changeling, I think the whole point of the changeling is to maybe have some secrets.
I agree. I feel like, you know, 9 out of 10 people who will pick a changeling
will play it
is because of some sort of
it's like you hear this all the time. Like, I'm a changeling who wants to look like this person because of XYZ reason.
Yes.
It's like, I don't think that's an uncommon thing.
No.
Like, are you just so scared of a plot thickening that like you just can't handle it? I just don't get why you'd be upset about this.
I can't either, and I'm trying to think of reasons as to why. And again, that whole like, is it like the feeling of like a betrayal? But I don't think so. Like,
Neither do
I just don't understand why your party would be mad that they weren't acting like their old character.
Yeah.
That to me, that's actually a bit of a red flag.
That's weird.
To be honest with you.
I think that's such a, like, let's just say we lost somebody somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like someone died. Yeah, okay. Somebody, you know, in the party dies, and then like they come back, or they just go missing, and then they come back and they're slightly different.
Yeah.
That is a cool storyline.
I agree.
I agree. Is interesting.
I agree.
Let's figure out why. Let's not interrogate and make this person feel bad. Like, that's just weird.
Yeah. And you know what, Anonymous? I think, by the way, the fact that you were like, I had to put my foot down when they started being like making decisions for them. And the fact that, you know, you heard your player say, hey, I don't really want to play this character anymore. I like the build, but I don't want to play the character. Can we do something? And the fact that you did, I think that's great.
I agree.
That's great of you. And no, you are not the arsehole at all. And you're not in the wrong for letting them come back like this at all.
No, I agree.
I honestly think the party has kind of had like a bit of a fucking, like a bit of a rancid vibe coming back to this.
That's a pestilent vibe.
Yeah, I agree.
Some nasty ass vibes.
Me too. I am as well. You're not in the wrong at all, Anonymous.
Neither is this player for wanting to, like, coming back as a changeling, that's a cool plot.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, why? Why did they do that? Like, did they even know them? Did they know them? Were they there when they died? Or something like that? And they want to just, you know, they feel bad for the parties. And, you know, I don't know, maybe they got some of the memories and realized how much this person means to the party. So they wanted to come back and try and be that for them or something like that.
Which is kind of what it sounds like.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
You know, but
sorry.
Stinking vibes.
Yeah, I agree. No, not the asshole.
Stinking vibes.
No.
Don't like that.
No, me
not
neither.
the asshole.
Well, this is the last one. This is the ultimate. This is a big one. There's a lot of nuance to this, but it's a good one.
Go on then.
So this is, I think I don't know if this is from the Reddit or not. I'm sorry. I can't tell because when I was planning, do you remember I lost loads of things and I had to just put like a title in?
Yeah.
And you were like, you need to make sure you go back and put that in.
Oh, you didn't put the title in?
I didn't.
I literally said, do it now, otherwise you're going to forget and you're going to get to the podcast and you're going to read out and you're not going to know.
Yeah. I think this, hold on, you know what? But I think this is a submission, so it's important I find out who this is from. So give me a second. Okay, this is a submission. This has been sent in by Anonymous and they use they, them pronouns.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anonymous. And the title is, Am I the arsehole for not trusting another character in the party? I've been playing D&D.
They're a shape changer, or they're a changeling.
they're a changeling, and they came back, and I don't trust their
another
decisions.
character.
I've been playing D&D for about a year now with the same small group of people. A few months ago, a friend from this group had the idea to run their first campaign as a DM based in a pretty popular TV show setting. Because of this, a lot of rules were homebrewed and constricted, something that we all knew going into it. We all had our HP upped, so we were able to take hits from things much more powerful than us. My character is a human fiend warlock whose patron is a high-ranking demon in hell.
Cool.
Due to how demons are perceived in this world, my character wasn't very quick to trust any party member with her backstory in the beginning. We had me a few days ago in game. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But we had me a few days ago in the game.
Mm-hmm.
This way, my DM writes is in an individual story arcs for each character, all of us leveling up at the end of each story, but whoever went through the most character development gets a whole bunch of new cool stuff. For example, another sheet of spells or features that the DM has put together. Cool. This excites all of us, especially because the first two seemed to go by very well and made sense for each character.
Awesome.
Here is where the issue starts. At the end of the second arc, the player the story centered on, B, made a crazy roll mid-session and basically became an angel. Something that my character, someone whose powers are very demonic, made them kind of wary. At this point, some of my character's backstory with the demon had been revealed. Everyone knew about the demon stuff, and my character didn't know that they knew. The wariness continued as we moved into what seemed to be my story. As B began to test the new powers, we all started debating if they could smite or not. Not the spell kind, the biblical wrath of a higher power kind that would basically wipe someone out without the need to roll. Also, there was an intense roleplay moment where B threatened another character into giving them more information about me. Again, something my character was never told about. As we started to go through what was supposed to be my arc, the party got split up for a while, 4 weeks in-game, and we each got to narrate what we were doing at that time. This was fun, but didn't really help with developing my character. Suddenly, characters from my backstory were thrown in at the end, leading us into going through a combat situation in which I was totally useless. I was compelled and basically forfeited most of my turns. In the middle of combat, the guys we were fighting said something about my character knowing something about B's backstory, specifically some information about who killed their father figure, but something that is not true. When we came out of initiative and our characters started to process what had happened, B basically accused me of conspiring against them and they pulled a weapon. This was when I decided my character would not trust B until serious attempts to build bridges were made. When talking with the DM afterwards, they seemed upset that I was kind of hellbent on this route, but after I explained, they started to understand. I made it very clear that the feelings that my character had were not at all reflective of anything I was feeling, and that I love B and the DM and our friendship means a lot. But what was done to my character was really hard to come back from. I feel like I might just be throwing a wrench into the plans for the DM though. They've made a few jokes, a few too many times for it to maybe actually be a joke about the power of friendship being what we will all need at the end of the campaign, and I feel like I may have messed up that plan. However, B's character hasn't made any attempt at apologizing or building bridges with my character since, and this has happened a few days ago in game, so I feel like this might not all be on me. Also, a side note, instead of coming up with a new power my character has after her story, my DM just told me to basically pitch them some ideas. So am I the arsehole? We still have sessions planned, and I still want this to be fun for everyone. If this is my bad and I'm hiding behind my "it's just what my character would do" excuse, please tell me.
What do you think?
I don't really know.
I
don't really know. I think
here, like, things can, like, you know, look, like, things can get tough between characters at points in the game.
Yes.
And, like, that's common for a lot of campaigns.
It is. No, it is.
Like,
it is. Yeah.
For our campaign, you know,
Yes.
things between you and Avalor
Yes.
have sometimes, you know, been on the little sketch.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, things that you both know and both don't know and stuff like that. God, like, I don't think that you're in the wrong for when somebody pulls a weapon
on you.
A weapon on you for false information that they didn't try and verify before pulling a weapon on you. That you are the asshole. Like, if somebody, you know, did that to me, I don't know, because at the same time, it's just like, look, I understand that you've heard something. This is how I would play this situation out. This is literally how I would do it. I understand that you've heard something that you maybe didn't want to hear right there, but you need to trust me. We've been traveling together for ages. It's not true.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you, it's not true.
And the thing is, I think that is the perfect response if relations had been built prior. It sounds like relations have not been built prior because OP's character made a point to not trust anyone. I think if there was a point of, like, you know, maybe those walls being taken down a little bit and, you know, some conversations. And, you know, I very much understand. I don't really know what, like, the TV show setting this is. Sounds cool, though. Anything with angels and demons, I'm in.
Is it Da Vinci Code Angels and Demons?
Is that a TV show?
No, that's a TV show. That's a movie.
I don't know, but, you know, anything like that, I'm in. So I understand, especially if B transformed into an angel, why someone who is a demon character would be like, whoa.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, and I think I may be speaking from experience here, from someone who had a character, I've talked about her all the time, Beloved, my first character. I did this. I made it so she didn't trust anyone. She didn't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
She didn't give any backstory away until like the very last arc of the campaign. And it made it really hard to form these relationships, which are needed. And there was points where I did make it difficult for everyone to progress because I had my character not be involved in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think there has to come a point where it's like, we say all the time about the lone wolf character or the edgy character of the group. It's just like, there has to be a point where it's like, you warm up to the party.
Totally.
Like, you can edgelord yourself and segregate yourself and, you know, lone wolf against every NPC.
Absolutely.
And everyone else.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, it's like, you're in the party.
Yeah.
And you need to be a part of the party.
You have to make exceptions. And again, there is a level of metagaming to it. Genuinely, there is.
There is,
because there has to be a level of me as player wants the group to be able to succeed and push forward. I don't want it to be hard on the DM. And you know what? The comments you made about the DM being like, oh, come on, the power of friendship. And I have to take what you're saying at face value, and you saying like, they've said it so many times, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
They're really trying to push a message here. Like, I think genuinely the situation's kind of messy on everyone's behalf.
I think it's messy on everyone's behalf. I agree. I think like maybe the dungeon master giving out the false information, knowing that you aren't, you know, the most vocal and like in favor member of the party with everyone is not great. The person just instantly drawing a weapon on you and being like, I can't believe you do this or hold this information from me.
And then the standoffishness of your character as well.
After that, it's like, I understand that they pulled a weapon on you, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, like at that point, instead of being like, look, it wasn't true, and, you know, and just trying to work that situation out, just shutting down and then, isn't going to help.
And, you know, in real life, if this was a real life situation, not wanting to trust someone until they give you an apology, so fucking valid, by the way.
Valid, yeah.
But I think in game, but the thing is, it's hard because you know, you're saying like, am I just using the excuse of it's what my character would do? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think you are. I think you are trying to genuinely put yourself in what your character would think, and you actually have all of these reasons as to why, you know. But the fact that you say, when I talked to my DM afterwards, they were upset and they keep making these suggestions, it suggests to me that both of you are equally making it as difficult as possible. My complete, genuine, sincere opinion on this.
Yeah.
I think you and B are making it difficult without meaning to, because you're just trying to do what your characters would do.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a point of foregoing character tension
for the sake of the party.
I very much agree.
And for the sake of the friendship group, and just for the sake of the game to just continue and not be difficult and not be this problem every time we turn up to D&D.
Yeah.
Like, we sometimes just have to forego that and just have the hard conversations. Just like, it doesn't mean that you just have to drop it and pretend like everything's fine. It's just like, you can just like have the conversation.
Absolutely.
And just get it out of the way and done with.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, I do not think you're hiding behind. I don't think actually you're using any excuse here.
No.
I think you're trying to make a decision based on all the information that you know about your character in the moment, which is all we can ever do.
All we can do, really.
But there has to be that awareness, which you have, by the way, because you're like, I love bees as a player. I love B. Yeah, totally. I love them and I value their friendship. So you have that disconnect, but I think it's gone too far.
I think it's gone too far at this point. I think we just need to take a step back and be like, yeah, it's all good that we're like playing our characters, but at the same time, right now, it's coming at the compromise of the game. So let's just drop it. Let's just have the conversation.
Yeah.
Let's just talk, in character. Let's like hash it out. But at the end of the day, we are a pie.
I agree. And, I very much understand you say like your character isn't quick to trust any party member.
Yeah.
That has to be broken down.
I think you need
point.
to. I think you need to take that and change it to that needs to be. Sorry, the dog was licking himself.
Obviously.
That needs to be taken down and changed to not quick to trust anyone outside of the party. It's like you can. It's sort of like this is why this character archetype is tough to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like
this is why
in the first session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions, you can be slow to trust. But then when you begin to see that these people, are adventuring with you and they're capable for whatever reason, you need to get on with these people because these are the people that you're going to be playing the game with. You can keep that like negative viewpoint or like, slow to trust viewpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole game and have it outwardly on the party.
Absolutely.
But the only people in the game that you actually need to trust are the people in the party.
I agree. And the whole like demon versus angel thing as well. I think it's cool that there is such a parallel and they normally wouldn't trust each other, but you have to find the reason in this exceptional circumstance.
That's it. It's like,
you do.
Why do you trust this person?
Totally.
It's because you do. And I understand that fundamentally angels and demons and stuff like that, but it's just
but you have to.
It's like, what's the reason that we don't do that?
Yeah.
Because that's what you need to find.
And also, I also think whenever you do character conflict like this, it has gotten to the point of conflict because B pulled a weapon on your character, right? Which, again, I think with a strong foundation of understanding in the party and trust in the party, something like this can be fun and dramatic.
It can be a cool moment.
But it feels like in this moment, because there was already this like bubbling undertone going on, it made it actually quite unenjoyable. At least that's what I'm picking up on.
It sounds
here.
like it to me.
And I think whenever there's character conflicts like this, it actually has to be talked about.
I agree.
Above table.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like, OP, you can very much separate yourself from your character. It sounds like you can. Maybe B's character can't.
Maybe the DM struggles too.
Maybe the DM is struggling with it as well, especially having to make these comments. I think at this point, maybe you can take this as a bit of a lesson learned in terms of playing this kind of archetype character. I agree. Perfect what you said. I am not quick to trust anyone outside of the party. I think,
and it doesn't have to be, like I said, it didn't have to be immediate in the first few sessions, but obviously we'll pass that now.
Yeah.
But like the only people that you should trust and probably have to trust to a degree, it doesn't have to be like with my life or anything like that. But you let these people in is the party.
Yeah.
They're the only people that you actually do.
We have to remember that us as people are playing the game to have fun
and together.
Exactly. So Are you the arsehole? No,
Nah.
I don't think there's any arseholes here. I think this is just a really tricky situation that has maybe gone too far without communication.
And without you all realizing that it's gone too far.
Totally. Yeah, totally. I promise you have a conversation about this, it will clear everything up. I promise. And the fact that you're coming away being like, man, have I been an arsehole here? That's not a good feeling either.
No, it's not.
And I bet you, if you're feeling like this, probably the other people in the situation are as well.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I don't think.
It's not too late to do something about it.
I agree. I think this could bubble and snowball into something kind of toxic potentially.
Yeah, I think, and it's on its way there now.
I agree.
So let's just stop that.
Yeah, I agree.
Before it goes too far.
I agree. And thank you for your submission.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'd be really interested to think of what people know. And have you done this? Have you had a character that again is like maybe not quick to trust, a lone wolf character? And like me, did you run into issues with it? Or were you able to resolve it in game? Because I kind of had a mix of the two.
Yeah, well, no, I think it definitely first came out of game.
Yeah.
You spoke to me about it.
Yeah, definitely.
When I was a player.
And then I just came to the next session and I was like, she's not like this anymore.
Yeah, and you were like, I'm changing how she is.
Yeah.
And no one was like, well, you can't do that.
Everyone was like, good.
Everyone was like, sound
great.
good.
That's cool.
No, they weren't like, good.
No, but they were like...
They were supportive of you.
Yeah, they were
just
like, cool.
Cool. That
we
sounds
don't
good.
care. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Excited for that.
Oh, that's it.
Awesome.
I've got such a bad headache.
No.
Oh my gosh. I've got such a stonking headache.
Well, let's wrap it up here, right?
Yeah.
www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Go and pick up some LD Podblast threads.
Oh, I'm wearing merch as well today.
Yeah, you wear the heavy metal t-shirt, the
Yeah.
Attack the Unaware t-shirt, Entity t-shirts, logos, all the good stuff. Clogging Time is all over there. Our Etsy store is linked down below. Code Podblast will get you 10% off anything at checkout. Notebooks, spell cards, t-shirts, all good stuff over there. All good gifts for you and your TTRPG friends. Like the video, comment, bell, all that good stuff. Subscribe.
Yeah.
all the goods.
Join us on stream.
Tuesday,
tomorrow,
Friday, and Sunday.
Yes.
You wanna win a free piece of merch? Come and join us on this Sunday for the bingo card. Anything else?
No.
I love you.
I love you.
Bully.
Well,
not a big fan today.
Yeah, I think Bully's cursing your ancestors a little bit today.
Yeah, he's a bit upset.
Yeah.
But we've been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on the Monday.
Bye.
The Monday. Bye.